Hello and welcome back once again to the Single Malt Review. We've got Tim and Dave here for you once again, where we're going to drink in the afternoon for your benefit. And ours? Who knows? Alrighty, what have we got here, Dave?
Well, we are into what we might call clean skin territory. We have here, it's definitely an Islay single malt. This is good to know, 46%. But it is from an unnamed distillery. What we have is a Hunter Laing bottling. This is Scarabus. And that's the extent of what I know. Tim, what's
Scarabus. Well, that's sort of the extent of what anybody knows, because this is Scarabus, or as I keep having to catch myself, Scabarus, depending on how you'd like to spoonerize the name. But this is indeed a Hunter Laing bottling. It is an undisclosed Islay single malt. Bottled at 46% in this case, and kudos to them, tick the boxes, unchill filtered and uncoloured. But aside from that, these are, you could say, a dime a dozen, although they are significantly more costly than a dime and possibly even more numerous than a dozen. There are a lot of these. I don't know what it is about Islay distilleries in particular that makes them so sheepish about wanting to have the name of the distillery published on the output bottle, but possibly it's just because the value of those brands over there. Each distillery is a brand unto itself. Some of them have such weight of brand recognition behind them. I mean, you say Lafroig, and you have you feel the billions resonating across the continent.
Maybe a simple matter of corporate law and marketing contracts.
Who knows? But independent bottlers do bottle them all the time. And they usually take this form.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's the Scarabus that we've got, Scarabus, and we'll just have to take it as it comes and form our own opinions. I have a few of them already because as we'll see, we've almost finished this one off.
So did you mention an age statement?
No, there is no age statement.
Oh, okay.
So, and there usually isn't. I don't remember the last one that came around with an age statement. It's usually just a whole bunch of question marks, redacted information for exactly what's going on. You're going to have the last wee drabby
just
there.
About. Yeah. It's a very fetching bottle, though.
It is. It's a nice bottle.
Almost black, smoked so dark green, and a very nice gold inlay floral motif behind the logo.
Yeah.
Scarabus, seek shall find.
Yes, indeed.
Only those who seek shall find. Even if I can
if that's a tacit encouragement to go on Google and to go down a huge research hole and to find exactly what this one is, I did that and I still couldn't find what it was. So yeah, who knows? If someone has and struck gold and found out exactly where this comes from, then please let us know in the comments, because I'd be fascinated. No, I have my opinions, but
on the reverse promise, Islay peat smoke and sea salt on the nose, followed by warming leather notes and a wonderful vanilla sweetness in the mouth, leading to a rich, lingering finish. Yeah, that could be approximately 50% of the Islay distillers.
It could be 50 to 70% of the Islay distillers, but in the glass you see here,
that's very very light colour.
Yep.
I'm thinking like. Maybe refill bourbon or something like that.
I think refill bourbon, and I think based on the price, this is probably about 6-year-old whiskey. This was pretty affordable. It's still Islay, so it's not ever going to be cheap, but it's about the minimum you're going to pay for Islay single malt. I'll say that much, at least in our country. But yeah, given how pale we are here, we can pretty much trust the no coloration here. If someone coloured this, then they messed up. This is the colour of truth, as I like to say, the colour of honesty, which is to say, pretty jolly pale.
That is a very impressive nose. It is. It's got a bit of lemon as well as a pepper, so it's a good.
Yep, lemon, pepper, and that's what forms the basis of my distillery opinion. But we'll get to that in a wee bit.
Reminds me of a young bourbon cask Lashig we've tried previously. Yeah, obviously not Islay, so it can't be that, but.
It is a bit of a Lashigi note. There is no small amount of leather, which doesn't quite fit my tasting theory, but
that does tie into the tasting and nosing notes on the
label. It does, yeah. But there's no small quantity of lemon, which does, and a little bit of smoked meat. There's a bit of smoky bacon, dry smoked bacon in there. A little bit of hot smoked salmon in the back, and quite peppery. And very approachable, 46%. So no slouch, but I can get all the way in there, and no damage is done to the olfactories. pretty gentle in terms of knocking the nose around. So we'll try it at full strength first.
Oh, wow. That went very fishy, very fast.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean,
The intensity is very much on the palate.
yeah.
The nose, if anything, is a bit deceptive into how... Because it smells
really is.
pretty gentle, tastes... I mean, I think harsh is not unfair. It's a pretty punchy whiskey on the nose. Lots of that youthful Islay vibrancy.
It's like poached salted fish with lemon juice. It's a sizzling smoking pan that's had bacon or like in it. That's really evocative. It just brings out so many culinary references.
And what it evokes to me, we've got the fish, we've got the bacon, we've got the lemon, and we've got a little bit of
practically a complete breakfast.
A little bit of the tar, maybe hold the tar, but that all speaks to me of Col Islay.
Yeah.
And taken to that, the meta pick, as always, in that if there's one distillery that likes to leak casks, it is Col Islay, like no other thing. I mean, Bunnahabhain's not far behind it, but Col Islay leaks like a sieve. Anybody can turn up and leave with a cask of Col Islay, it seems, because it seems like every second peated, independently bottled whiskey is from Col Islay. They just do this massive trade in independent bottles.
To the best of my recollection, I've never had a very young Col Islay, so I can't say for sure, but I can see where you're getting that impression.
I mean, there's the only Col Islay by Col Islay is still that 12-year-old from the classic malts, like it has been for maybe decades at this point. A very, very, very long time.
I believe I've had the occasional independent bottling as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I say, every second unnamed Islay single malt turns out to be Col Islay, so that's probably colouring my opinion somewhat. But back to looking at it more empirically, as far as affordable Islay malt goes, I think this one's really pretty good. This one, I haven't had much experience with water. I'll put a wee bit in there.
This is certainly a fine example of, again, a very young whiskey, which is carrying its weight well, especially with that heavy peatiness. That sometimes goes nicely with like a fairly gentle cask, like a bourbon cask, which imparts a limited amount of flavour with a short maturation, and a lot of peat, but it can achieve great things.
Yeah, I think if you want a bit more peat and a bit more fruit, I think the water helps.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, that has softened the peat and brought out the lemon meringue and its other desserty flavours. Again, harkening back to that phenomenal Le Chig we tried previously.
Yeah. So I think it's not a sort of monument of Islay complexity or age. It's a pretty punchy, youthful whiskey. Very much here to work, not here to take names or change minds about anything. But in that spectrum, I think it does very, very well, and scores for me is 87. It's for an Islay malt that you don't have to pay through the nose for, which is damn near all of them these days. It really, really ticks the boxes for that Islay experience, and doesn't break the bank in doing so. And it's presented well, from the bottle to the unchill filtered to the lack of coloration. It is presented the way you want to see your craft whiskey, and that goes a long way.
This is a nice balance of style and substance. Even though we don't know which distillery it's from, but we have our guesses, it is a very crisp and a very expressive young Islay whiskey, and it's been obviously chosen with certain care and labelled and bottled nicely and delivered as a wholesome and very enjoyable product. This is 85 points from me. It is a good, youthful Islay experience.
It's good stuff, and it's available too.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants this should be able to go and get it. There's no exclusivity factor here, and that may be. I mean, I might be thinking somewhat charitably here, but that could be one of the reasons that so many of these Islay distilleries are bottled without the distillery name, because the name in so many of them carries such a cachet and such a weight of prestige that the moment you put Lafroig on a bottle,
You're expected to increase the price
Well,
accordingly.
that or the collectors are going to scuttle out of their holes, and it's all going to disappear and reappear on Craigslist, at 5 times the inflated price.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the next day sometimes. Such is the perceived speculative
Right.
value of some of the distillery names on it. I mean, you put a whiskey with the name Ardbeg in the wild. No matter what you charge it for, it will appear. It will reappear the very next day on secondary markets for more than it did by sometimes factors of an astonishing amount. But whiskey and speculation is a whole other discussion. You thought NFTs were some bad shit. Well, you weren't. Whiskey speculation was there long before the blockchain. I'll tell you that much. One may have been born out of the other, but who knows? Who knows? We're all to blame. But yes, this has been Scarabus, not Scarabus, I think, really quite fine bottling by the good people at Hunter Laing, who continue to do good things in terms of putting good whiskey in the hands of people like us, not people in the hands of those that own an airport. So before we run out of tape, because Dave's nervously checking the phone here because we're on the 11-minute power hour now. We're about to run out, which marks the end of our session here. So thank you for tuning in. We'll be back with something new and vivacious very, very soon. So check back in with us then, and we will be right back. Slàinte.